Hello and welcome to Talkin Yanks. It is time to get smart. So we have Katie Sharp with us, the queen of stats. It's Sharp Stats time. Jake, are you excited to learn your biggest nemesis? Learning,
yeah. That's we've had our battles through the years, but this is my favorite form to learn. And Jim, you know the secret to learning. It's a lot easier to learn when it's something you care about.
Yeah.
with the Yankees and KT Sharp delivering it. Yes, I am excited about that. And we Yankee times have been morose for a little bit, but we've got two really fun topics today. Won't give away too much, but first, how you doing, KT Sharp?
I'm doing okay. Obviously could be a lot better. You know, it sucks to lose. Even when you're not on the playing field, you know, you got a team you root for and they lose and they don't look good right now. You guys have talked a lot about those non-competitive at-bats in the Rays series, and yeah, it sucks. It sucks to kind of watch as a fan, but hey, you know, the good thing I think about this season is that these games they just keep on coming. I mean, there's literally no breaks, right? And you get double headers, you get games every day. So that's the good thing, I guess. There's always something to look forward to the next day. So hopefully more good times ahead in Yankee land, because it can't get much worse. But yeah.
Can't get much worse. It's we need to get healthy and we need to start swinging at pitches. But Hap's the savior tonight.
Another quick slice of Mets medicine to give us wins. I wouldn't necessarily say win games, but to give us wins. Hopefully that kickstarts us at Baltimore. And you know what? Maybe some of those really good players coming back would be really good for the Yankees too. So
yeah, that might help. It might help to have Glaber, Aaron Judge, Stanton in your lineup. Those guys are pretty good.
They help.
Yeah, sure do. We're talking about some good news today. We are sandwiching bad.
That's been the theme so far this year. We haven't had a trifecta of good yet. Maybe next week we'll see.
3 good topics. I don't think we've had to have that. So
this first one's the most exciting maybe of all year, or is that me getting dramatic?
You getting dramatic.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. Because Deivi Garcia shoved Katie. He came up. There was people that were a little what's the word?
Trepidation?
Trepidatious? That's what I was thinking of saying.
I don't know.
But he was shoved. He was awesome. Him and Kratzy with the battery. Katie, you told us you had some fun comps you were going to tell us. So I'm excited. What do you got on Deivi? Is that who he's been in the minors? He did make a change that we know about. What do you got?
Yeah, well, I don't know about you guys when you were watching, but I was obviously super impressed with him. And, I mean, it basically really just starts kind of with his demeanor on the mound. And a lot of people talked about that. He talked about that afterwards. He just has that confidence. Even though he's 5'9", 150 or whatever, he still has that confidence. And the one thing that I do want to note, and then this was mentioned, I believe, on the broadcast, David Cohn, who I'm going to trust whatever he says, because I have not thrown a major league pitch ever.
Yet.
And he has. But one thing that he noted, and this I think is probably the most important thing, is that he moved he switched from the third base side of the rubber to the first base side of the rubber, so his position on the mound. And the reason that helped him so much is, this is the way that Cohn explained it, is that he has this cross-body delivery. So that when he does his delivery, his front foot will sort of land towards the third base side rather than straight ahead. So if you're thinking about that. And then what he does is he moves his body across, when he releases the ball, he will extend over that leg, which is, sort of on the third base side. And that's the cross-body kind of delivery. So the problem with starting off on the third base side is that it's really tough then to pitch outside to righties and inside to lefties, if you think on that, on that other side of the plate. So he was having a lot of, and that's kind of been his bugaboo in the minors, is that his lack of command. He's really just, he's got this amazing fastball, terrific curveball. We'll talk about that later. But he had a high walk rate. I believe he only had a handful of starts in the minors where he didn't walk a batter. And we know that was what he did in his first major league start. So moving to the first base side of the rubber then allows him basically to pitch to both sides of the plate a lot easier, and to really command his fastball, command his breaking pitches. So that was something that David Cohn noted on the broadcast. I think he actually, and the reason was because he noticed it during spring training, that Deivi pitched on that third base side of the rubber, and he noticed that it could be a problem with his delivery. And I don't know if there's any communication with him and Matt Blake or whatever, but definitely there was a change, and we have the numbers to back it up too, which is pretty cool, because there were some TrackMan cameras at that spring training game, because it was against the Phillies. I believe it was July 20th. When they did that. It was a televised game, so they had the cameras there. And his release point has actually moved almost about 1.5 feet. If you look at it, 1.5 feet, his horizontal release point has moved 1.5 feet towards the first base side from one start to the next. So this is not just smoke and mirrors. This was a little, and you can see it. I mean, there's screenshots out there. And obviously, with the results, you can tell that it worked because he didn't walk a batter, and he was just pounding the strike zone the entire time. And I have some more numbers on that, but I think I really like that he made that change, because that just shows that he has the ability to adapt. And it was just literally like at the end of summer camp and during the alternate site training that he did when he was able to make this change. So to be able to do that and then to pitch your first major league game with this new position on the rubber, and to be literally have a historical major league debut, that was incredible for me, aside from whatever else happened.
I think it's cool that we have this data, because I was telling Jake, I wonder if this is a head game to just like a placebo effect. Yeah, that'll change, or if there's actual tangible effects. And I was just watching his delivery, and the cross body is real. So interesting. I was trying to picture it when you were saying it, and basically, he probably missed everything wide right if he was on that side, because he kicks his leg out towards third. Then he has to overcorrect, so it's just a little helpful. I was watching his debut in AAA, and Kratz was his catcher then. So then I went and I was like, damn, was Kratz catching him all in AAA last year as well? And then I went to a random AAA Deivi game last year, and it was Ford, Clint, Wade, Tyro, Higgy, and I was like, oh my God, that's our team right now.
Yeah, just check out the second half of the lineup, and you'll see it. Yeah,
so that was my audible bad reaction that you saw.
And by the way, I hope the people in the Patreon right now and people on YouTube got to see some of it, but Davey O'Brien in the studio here was doing the angles. He jumped in the game. That was cool of you to see. Jimmy was throwing downhill for a second there. Yeah, and there is a placebo effect to it. I like moving on the mound, and it does. When you say 1.5 feet, I mean, that changes angles. That changes how pitches come in and all that stuff. I want to dream a little bit, and let's get this out of the way now so we can dream hard. Is that, Davey's a rookie, he's a kid, he's 21, the wheels could fall off pretty quickly, and that is what it is, and it wouldn't even be a bad thing for his future. Or we can get nutty and get excited, and I want to do that because something you said there, Katie, no walks, and that's something he didn't do often in the minors. I mean, it was kind of his concern being a prospect. And now he comes in and he does this, and I just think everything we've heard about Deivi, every interview you hear someone talk about Deivi, they say the word confident, which means he is not shy about it. And I'm just picturing him being that confident, being this young, coming in with a slight change, which even he thinks has made him a step better, what that has done analytically versus placebo effect, like Jim said. But, man, you know what a placebo effect could do? It could ride him through October. And I just don't know what role that's in yet. I don't know if it's jumping in the bullpen and maybe giving 2 wipeout innings, or hell, we could. It's not the craziest thing to think at this point in the season Deivi Garcia could be on the mound for a playoff start, which is insanity itself. So
short leash, like 2-3 innings start.
Sure.
You only started one.
Yeah. I mean, I think that Deivi seems like the guy that he really needed to have a good start in his first major league start to get that confidence, to get that ball rolling, because I think he seems like the guy that can kind of just thrive on that, where he pitches kind of with that intention and with that demeanor, once he knows that he can do it in a major league game. And the other thing that really impressed me also, and they talked about this on the broadcast, was that his fastball, I mean, if you look at his fastball, it's average. It was about 92, 93, maybe, touching 94. But what Coney talked about was that it has this late life. It's got this real deception, right? And I think that the reason is because, he does have such short arms. So he's got like sort of a short arm action.
I almost said that as a
kind
joke.
of watch it, and if you kind of watch it, he hides the ball a little bit behind his back before he delivers it. So even though he's averaging pretty much like 93. His spin rate is basically major league average, It's about 2,200 RPMs. But that deception really helps him, and it's with his fastball. And so I looked at some numbers. I kind of wanted to be able to try and quantify what this deception was, and it was kind of some pretty interesting stuff that I found. So I looked at fastballs that were thrown basically in the heart of the zone. So I'm not talking middle. I'm just talking in the zone, but not on the edges. So just normal pitches that people should be able to hit, but maybe not. So he threw 16 of those in that game, and they fouled off half of those. So 8 of those 16 were fouled off. The major league average is about 30% on that. He got whiffs on 4 of them, so about 25%, whereas the major league average is about 10-12%. And only 1 hit was on a fastball in the heart of the zone. So I think that really tells you that he's got that confidence, he's aggressive, and he has that deceptive delivery that allows his fastball to like they say, play up. So I think that is, maybe it's something that eventually catches up to him, but right now it's working, and hopefully it works a little bit more.
And that's the fastball. The curveball, I don't know if you have it. I don't want to take it from you, but the curveball, the spin rate is higher than the average MLB curveball, right? Like he was dropping 2,900 RPM. Is that the number I heard?
Yeah. So I think that's also another reason why his fastball plays up so much, is because of the curveball. And we've talked about this a little bit, I think, on the Chad Green episode a couple weeks ago. But this fastball curve combination it's nasty. And his ability to really change levels, and that's what you want to do when you're a pitcher. You want to get the batter looking up, you want to get him looking down, you want to get him looking out, in, whatever. And so I pulled some numbers on the different, that combination there, and really just looking at the differentials in the movement, in the speed between the fastball and the curveball. And it's pretty awesome. So I'm just going to go through some stuff here. So he's got a 17 mile per hour difference in velocity, which is really good. I mean, it's not like a Zach Greinke thing, but that's definitely above average. And I looked at the vertical movement, so the drop. He's got a 50-inch difference in drop between his fastball and his curveball. 50 inches. That's like more than 4 feet. Think about that.
So that's 5-0.
Yes, 5-0.
Okay,
50 inches raw. We're not talking. I'm not looking at compared to a major league average or anything. This is with gravity. So 50 inches. So 4 feet is the difference in the drop there.
Wow. Okay.
And he does as Jimmy mentioned. Yeah, he's got elite spin. So it topped out at I think about 2,900. They said, and averaged about 2,760. So the major league average is about 2,500. So definitely way above league average there with his curveball spin. In terms of just the curveball drop, it drops about 6 inches more than the average curveball. Given like what they do basically with StatCast is they look at how much the pitch compares to other pitches that are similar in terms of velocity. So it's not looking at so there's obviously a lot of different types of curveballs you can throw. You can throw a hard, you can throw a slow curve. So just looking at curveballs that are like his, it drops 6 more inches than average, and that would be about a top 20 number. If you want to compare to I'll just do a Bauer comparison. Bauer's curveball, Trevor Bauer, his drops about 10 more inches than average. So obviously that's incredible. But so Deivi is about 6 inches more. And with his fastball actually rises about 3 inches more than average, which is elite. That would be about a top 10 number. So when you combine those, that is just those two effects really, I think, play off of each other and make those pitches, plus if you're looking at it on a scouting scale.
Well, it's really cool that, years in baseball is late life or fastball sneaks up with you. And now you can kind of measure some of that stuff to make sense of it, which takes away from the beauty a little bit, but also can tell you what's going on with a guy or if there's a Cinderella effect. And there's a lot of good stuff around Deivi. And again, Katie, if you don't have this present, but the third pitch is the changeup, right? And is that right now just a third pitch, and it can keep hitters off their toes a little bit? Do we have enough information on it, or TBD?
Yeah, he according to the StatCast tracking, he only threw 8 of them in that game. He threw 5 sliders. So really, I mean, I'm hesitant to kind of make any sweeping conclusions. He threw the majority of the pitches that he threw were the curveball and the four-seamer. But yeah, it doesn't look like it doesn't have elite characteristics, I would say, in terms of movement. So I think that those are still definitely in the works. And I know that his slider he just picked up last year.
It didn't look
he
good.
did have a couple. I think he had a couple nice strikeouts on the changeup, though, if I remember correctly.
He had one. The slider, he yanked them all. They were all back foot. I don't think he threw it for a strike once.
Yeah.
Whatever. Show me pitch. Just something different. Think about.
Yeah, but overall, I mean, if you want to just kind of make a general thing, I think, there's a lot of pitchers that come in and, they throw 6 scoreless innings or whatever. But if you kind of look at his stuff, it's elite. So there's a lot to work with. It's not like a Nick Nelson, who, I mean, remember we were like gaga over him after he threw those 3 hitless innings.
Yeah.
Which is nice. But this is, I mean, what I really like is that this is real. I mean, he has the stuff to back it up. So he's just got to harness it now. And be consistent, obviously. That's the most important thing whenever you're dealing with a first-year guy.
It looks like, at least in this game, the changeup was his third pitch to lefties, and the slider was his third pitch to righties.
Makes sense.
Which a lot of pitchers do that. Or 4-pitch pitcher, really a 3-pitch pitcher.
The one thing that did concern me a little bit when I was looking at some of the numbers were that his vertical release points between the fastball and the curveball, there's about a 6-inch difference there, which, I mean, it kind of worries me a little bit in that, maybe some people will be able to start picking up that curveball out of his hand because he doesn't really have that tunneling effect from the start, from the release point. And that's possibly something that he can work on.
6 inches.
And
that was that vertical? So
that's
when
vertically.
He's throwing the curveball, he's throwing up higher.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And all of his slider and the changeup are pretty much about the same with the fastball. They are released at about the same height.
So the
curveball is a little bit higher.
No one told Baltimore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep that under wraps.
That's a little. Yeah. Hopefully.
Talking Orioles.
No, if you're an Orioles fan, don't listen to what just happened. I don't know. I want to get excited about Deivi. It's so funny how things go with prospects because Clark Schmidt shows up and he's got more of that traditional build, and we're seeing the Yankees show him off, and we're like, yeah, let's go with Clark. See you later, Deivi. He looked he just didn't look ready in the summer camp games. I don't know if he was juiced up or what was going on. He slides on the mound. But what I think people do need to know, I've said them before, I'll say it quickly. 111 innings last year in the minor leagues, 165 strikeouts. That's going from high A to double A to triple A. A couple other things that are popping up on the Baseball Reference right now. It shows the age difference between where you're playing, like the average age. Deivi Garcia is 7.3 years younger than the average major leaguer. That's pretty crazy to think about. And I think, after seeing what Deivi did, and, we'll see what he becomes, and, when we start doing future Yankee stuff in the offseason, are we penciling him in the rotation? Are we penciling him in the bullpen? Is he a swingman for next year? Who knows? I mean, that ties into so much free agency and how Deivi performs and everything else. I think what he's shown is that there definitely is a role to be a major leaguer. Some people have said high leverage bullpen. As a Yankee fan, I think you should hope he's a starting pitcher and can be the Baby Pedro. And my final note that kind of surprised me a little bit, because again, the Deivi hype train had slowed a little bit as the Clark hype train went up, so they were kind of ships passing in the night. The other thing that we forget is, we get caught in Keith Law's rankings or Major League Baseball or Baseball America or whatever. And it's prospects. I mean, to a degree, it's guessing. There's so much that ties into it. But I'll say this. Major League Baseball coming into the season, they had him as the number 92 prospect. Do what you want with that. Baseball Prospectus had him at 24, which, hey, again, I don't know who's doing that. I don't know who's making the numbers, but the fact that they get listed in the people that make lists shows that the potential this kid can have. And, I mean, if he shoves again at Baltimore, I mean, get excited for Deivi Mania and whatever it looks like, because we need arms. We need arms.
Yeah, that's one thing that's lacking right now, among other things.
Amongst others, too.
Yeah.
Amongst the second half of the lineup.
Well, speaking of lacking, let's move on to the second topic then. Brought to you by DraftKings.
I knew it.
That's what you thought?
Yeah.
You should have said it, because now no one knows what you truly thought. With football right around the corner, there's no better place to get in on all of the action than with DraftKings Sportsbook. America's top-rated sportsbook app. To celebrate the return of football, DraftKings is giving all users a no-brainer to start the season. Listen up, because you don't want to miss this. Have you ever heard of a football team losing by 100 points? Well, for week 1, DraftKings is ensuring that if Kansas City were to lose in historic fashion, you would still cash your bet. That's right, DraftKings Sportsbook has moved the spread to Kansas City plus 101 points for all users. So even if Kansas City loses by 100 points, you will still win big with DraftKings Sportsbook. That's a no-brainer. On top of that amazing offer, DraftKings is giving away up to $100 million in prizes to all users who enter their free football survivor pool. All you have to do is sign up for DraftKings Sportsbook, enter their survivor pool, and you'll instantly get a share of up to $100 million in giveaways. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code Jomboy to take advantage of this no-brainer of an offer. That's promo code Jomboy to get in all the action for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. You must be 21 or older, New Jersey only. Other terms and conditions and restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Tauchman is highlighting the issue that a lot of the Yankees are struggling with. There was a stat being passed around Twitter yesterday. I sent it to Jake about Talkman, Katie. It's crazy. Explain it to the people.
I can't. I can't explain this. Talkman, obviously we've all seen how horrible he is. And it's everything. I mean, strikeouts are up. He's chasing more. He's whiffing more. I mean, these are things that he was known for last year for being so good at. The other thing, before we get into that stat that we're going to talk about, I mean, he can't hit the ball hard at all. his hard hit rate. His
and is that
exit
good or
velocity.
bad, Katie, before you get into it?
I think it's good to hit the ball hard.
Okay.
I admit, I topped out at Babe Ruth League. So I'm not really sure what happens in the majors. But yeah, it's good to hit the ball hard. His exit velocity, his average exit velocity has dropped from about 89 to 85. And we're looking at major league average is about 88. His hard hit rate has dropped from 39% to 27%. I mean, that's like Brett Gardner territory. You know, Kyle Higashioka territory, whatever you want to call it. Tyler Wade territory. And the other thing that really just kind of jumped out at me was his pull percentage. He's literally not pulling the ball at all. 30% last year, 19% this year. And this is going to blow your mind. When he does pull the ball, he's basically like a little leaguer. He has a 300 slugging percentage on pulled balls. This is pulled balls. He's slugging 300. And his average exit velocity on pulled balls is 85 miles per hour. I mean, that just kind of blows my mind. Even when he does try to pull the ball, he can't do anything with it. I mean, even a guy like Gardner has like a 500. A guy even like, DJ, who hits a lot of opposite field balls, goes opposite field a lot, still pulls the ball. He slugs in the 500s on pulled balls. And I can't even, I'm not going to even get into like Aaron Judge territory, obviously. But to slug 300 on pulled balls, I mean, there's something going on. I don't know if he legitimately could be hurt, or he just doesn't know what to do at the plate. So that's my rant before we get into the favorite stat of the day.
And Katie, just from our end of the table, I mean, the eye test is just, it's frustrating. I mean, he was getting some 92 down the middle, and it looks like he's fighting to foul it off. And it's just so odd for a guy that when he joined the Yankees, he initially struggled, and we wondered what this was. Was this just Cashman grabbing a body, or what is this? And when he found his groove last year, he was really good. I mean, he could go the other way with it. He was pulling balls into the seats. I mean, he was a really good ball player, and now he just looks, I don't know if it's timing or what, but it is not pretty.
Yeah, like last year he pulled 10 of the 13 home runs that he hit were pulled. So it's not like he didn't ever show pull side power last year. But yeah, so this year, I don't know. The only thing I've seen him hit are little flares into left field. Into left field, maybe.
I have a question, because the stat that he hasn't hit a fastball in the strike zone yet is mind-blowing.
Yeah,
he had a 2-week stretch, Katie, where he hit 400. He had 15 hits and 5 doubles. What was he hitting?
He must have been hitting breaking balls, because no, what he does is he's just hitting all these balls that are on the edges of the strike zone or out of the strike zone. And I think that actually might be the reason why we see him not making any solid contact. Because the only times that he does make, when he does make contact and it goes for a hit, it's very weak contact. It's on those breaking pitches. It's on those pitches that are not in the heart of the zone, but on the edges of the strike zone. Right? So yeah, that stat. So I dug into that fastball stat a little bit more. So he has seen 69 fastballs in the heart of the zone.
Nice.
And I'm not talking, like I said before, we're not talking middle. I'm just talking, normal heart of the zone. He's swung 59 times, so that's good.
So he recognizes them.
He's seeing them. Okay,
check. 59, yeah,
that's
good
and also bad.
Normal. Yeah.
So now that's about the end of the good.
Okay.
Of those 59 swings, he's fouled off 35 of those pitches, which to me that looks more than half. And he's put 12 of them in play, and obviously we talked about he has no hits. 69 pitches, fastballs in the zone, 0 hits. So, okay, so I had to put this into perspective. So I looked at we're just going to cut that in half. We'll look at all the people in the majors that have seen at least 35 fastballs in the heart of the zone.
Sure.
Right? There's 323 of them.
That I've seen 35 fastballs in the heart of the zone.
Okay. Right.
Over the plate.
So the low end, this is about half as many that Tauchman has seen. There's only one guy that doesn't have a hit out of those 323. And that's Tauchman.
When you were delivering that, I thought it was one guy outside of Talkman. No. It is Mike Tauchman.
Yeah, 323 pitches.
Thorough.
Players, yeah, have seen 35 fastballs in the heart of the zone.
You probably don't have this now. Jonathan Garcia in the patron chat just said it, and it matches the eye test. This looks like who he was at the beginning of last year, which maybe means there's hope that he can change it. Because there was that 2-week or whatever stretch it was last year where we were like, who is this guy? What's his approach? But that's crazy bad.
And this
is the entire season, yeah. This is not just like a 2-week stretch.
Yeah.
The part I can't wrap around my head is this, for a hitter, is maybe the most easily diagnosed problem you could have.
For a pitcher, it's pretty cool, too. Throw this dude fastballs in the zone.
Why wouldn't you throw him a fastball?
I can't hit fastballs over the plate. It's got to be, and we met Tauchman, and he's a really nice dude, and he's, we've been making the joke that Wade said, he's very thorough, he's very well-spoken. His brain has to be going miles and miles per hour because, what do you work on? Fastballs over the plate? that's brutal. That's brutal.
Does he need a pitching machine? Is he not doing anything in the cage? Isn't that what a pitching machine does? It does fastballs over the zone.
Do we think
it does other things, but
is there any luck factor tied into this? Like, could we be here in 2 weeks and Tauchman hits a foul pole and then it all connects? Because I don't know. I'm not seeing any data that leads me to that.
Not really. His exit velocity on those pitches is not. It's like about the same as the average. It's not anything special. It's not like. Obviously the expected stats are going to be higher than 0, right? Because it's hard to have a 0 expected unless you're whiffing on every pitch. So yeah, his expected stats are higher than a 0 batting average and a 0 slugging. But
because they
the thing is, I think it's the fouls that really get me. And we saw it in the 9th inning of the game on Wednesday, right? He got a fastball right down the heart of the zone. It wasn't even a fast one. It was like 92 or something. It was from that Slegger, whatever his name is. Slegger's guy. And what did he do? He popped it up in foul play, and that was it. So, and then I was kind of looking at some of the sequencing, and then DJ actually got a fastball in the heart of the zone right after that. And he had an RBI single. So that's what you're supposed to do with a fastball in the zone.
Yeah.
So
well, that's terrible. And then my thing is that the Yankees as a team don't do anything with fastballs in the zone. They're not swinging at them, and when they do swing at them, they don't do anything with them. And you told us some stats before the show that are... Where do they rank, Katie, on fastballs in the zone? How did the Yankees as a team rank against the rest of the league?
Okay, so these aren't just fastballs in the zone. We're doing meatballs here, all right? We're getting down to the meatballs.
Okay.
We talked about the meatballs before. These are pitches right down the middle, okay? You're looking middle, if you're looking at your little zone chart. This is the Yankees, okay? We're talking about the Bronx Bombers, right? On meatball pitches, they are 25th in slugging percentage, 25th in batting average. 25th.
Yeah.
Come on. It's
Bottom.
Yeah, there's like 5 teams worse than them, right?
On meatball pitches. I know the lineup's been bad, but even that, like, you're still in the bigs.
Yeah.
Gardner, Tauchman, Gary. It's Gardner, Tauchman, Gary got to be the biggest culprits, right?
Yeah, I've got it. I actually did just pull it up. For the slugging, yeah, like Glaber too. Glaber,
okay.
Tauchman, Gary. Those are the guys among that have like the most, the most plate appearances. Obviously, you get like the Jody Mercers and Tyro Estrada people, but not relevant right now. But yeah,
I don't know what the normal percentage is or anything, but yesterday the Yankees took 30 strikes looking.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And how many pitches get thrown in a game? How many strikes? Probably like 60 strikes yesterday. Maybe 70.
Probably a little bit more. Yeah, I mean, there's usually like 170 pitches in a game, something like that, right?
I was counting it, but I wasn't counting third foul balls. So I was counting strikes swinging plus the first 2 foul balls, and it was even. It was like 30 and 30. But there was a lot of foul balls, like Clint, that were just like keep that bat alive.
Yeah, I mean, they are, in terms of called strikes on these meatball pitches, they're about 15th in the league. So they're about league average in terms of swinging, not swinging. But, I mean, if you're the Yankees, you should be swinging every time, right? Why?
That's like their thing. Get your A swing off.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. I mean, 15th is a disappointment for that for me. They should be at the way bottom in terms of called strike percentage.
Yeah.
On meatball pitches. And bottom,
right.
I mean like low percentage.
Low percentage, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's obviously we all see it, the frustrating, and those are the numbers, to show how frustrating it is.
Not good. We're gonna pivot to one more good thing before we head out. Game actually starts in 15 minutes.
How about that?
Clint Frazier's defense has been a vast improvement from last year. He couldn't have gotten worse, but he got much better. I'm interested to see where he ranks out, Katie, because he's not hurting the Yankees at all on defense. I think he's helping, but I don't know if he ranks out as like top tier or how far above average. So what do we got on Clint's defense thus far? And small sample size with defensive metrics. We're looking at some loopy stuff, but we'll just go with what we got.
Right, yeah. Well, so that's the first thing we'll just say is that obviously defensive metrics are, always it's hard in such a small sample to really get some, good information. But what we can do with a lot of the StatCast stuff is look at individual plays and whether they should have been made or they shouldn't be made. So there aren't actually any really, I think defensive runs saved has some rankings out there. The StatCast doesn't have any of their rankings yet in terms of leaderboards, but they do put out the individual player totals. But in terms of some of the StatCast metrics, so what they do is they kind of look at what the expected catch rate on a ball is supposed to be, and then if you actually did catch the ball. It's what they call catch probability. So Clint, first maybe I'll just present last year. So, and we know that he didn't really play a ton. Played enough last year, but last year he had a negative 13% catch probability, which means that the difference between the expected catch percentage and his actual catch percentage was 13% in the wrong way.
So is that like per play? So if
that's overall.
Okay, so
you
overall.
aggregate all the plays.
Gotcha.
Aggregate all the plays. So
Gotcha.
there's no weighting or anything of good plays, bad plays. So we'll get to that in a little bit. But just overall, he had a 85% expected catch rate, and he caught 72% of the plays.
Gotcha.
Okay, that's where you get the negative 13. That's not good. That was, I believe, that could have been the worst. In the majors last year, among guys with however many
X amount of attempts,
balls into the plays, This year is a significant improvement. So there was a 82% expected catch rate on the plays that he's made, and he actually caught 86% of those. So he's added 4 percentage points in terms of catch probability, which is. Heck, that's above average. That's I don't know where that ranks. I don't believe they had the rankings out, but it's definitely going to be like in a top half of the league if you were going to look at it.
Huge.
So he's doing better than what he's expected, and that's kind of all you can ask for.
It's
Clint
the best
at this
place
point.
to start.
Exactly. So then I kind of wanted to get a little bit deeper into kind of what types of plays he was making. So this is probably the most eye-opening part, is that the only mistakes he's made the only plays that he hasn't made have been on what are called 5-star catches. And those are ones with a 0 to 25% chance of catching the ball. And those are rarely made. I mean, if you convert 10% of those as an outfielder over the course of a season, I mean, that's amazing, literally. So those are the only mistakes he's made, and he's converted all of the other plays. So if you want to look at what a really bad outfielder, last year, this is really funny. So they break it down into buckets: 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, 2-star, 1-star, with different percentages. The 4-star is a 26 to 50% catch probability. The 3-star is 51 to 75%, and then the 2-star is a 76 to 90, and then the 1-star is a 91 to 95. So you notice it stopped at 95. So they don't even count plays above that. Well,
oh no.
Last year Clint missed 3 plays with a 99% catch probability.
I remember that.
That was Katie's laugh, not our laugh. I want that on the record.
I looked at that. I was like, no.
Okay, that was my laugh. That was my laugh.
He was 2 for 9 he missed all of his 4 and 5 stars, obviously. He was 2 for 9 on 3 stars, that's pretty ridiculous.
Hold. We're trying to be nice to Clint.
Yeah.
Trying to be nice to Clint.
Clint was bad last year.
We are going to be 2 for 9
Katie,
on 3 stars.
he went on 4 or 5-star catches. He didn't have a single one.
No, he didn't catch any of those. I mean, whatever.
Okay, but on 3-star, he only caught 2 3-stars?
Yeah, that's...
And he missed 2 1-star?
7. No, he missed, so I'll go through this. 2 of 9 on 3 stars. So he missed 7. 3 of 8 on 2 stars.
He missed 5
3 of
2-star.
3 of 8, yeah.
This is 2 stars are between a 76% and a 90% chance of catching the ball. And then he missed 1 1-star, a 91 to 95, and then we know that he missed 3 99s.
Can you take out 4 and 5? 1 through 3-star? How many did he make? And how many chances?
So I've got it. 9
Sounds like you're about to tell me 6 for 30.
9 of 22.
So he missed more chances than he made as an outfielder on routine plays?
Between 90
varying levels of
and
routine.
20, between 90 and 50% catch probability, he missed more than half of those.
Whoa. I knew it was horrible, but that is insanely bad. Anyway, this year he's been good. Vast improvement.
This year, I told you he missed his all of his 5 stars. He's had 3 of those, but he's 2 for 2 on 3 stars, 2 for 2 on 2 stars, and 1 for 1 on 1 stars. And hasn't missed any of the 99s, obviously. So, I mean, that kind of when you sum it up like that, you can he's a major league, he's a real major league, he's a normal major league outfielder. You know what I mean? He's doing good. And then just before we wrap up here, I kind of do want to note a couple other things. Some interesting things that kind of jumped out to me is so he has the way the Statcast breaks out how they evaluate outfielder defense is what they call a jump. So how many feet does the player cover in the correct direction towards the ball, right? So if you think about moving towards the ball to catch it, his jump is how many feet is covered in the correct direction in the first 3 seconds. So 1, 2, 3, the first 3 seconds. And his jump this year is 2.5 feet better than last year. Better than average. 2.5 feet better than average, which would be in about the top 10% of the league, if this was a full season. Last year it was basically he was about half a foot below average.
How's his route running? Because we do know that there's a correlation there. Like Mike Trout has the worst outfield jump out of all center fielders, but Mike Trout still makes all the plays because he takes really good routes. He kind of calculates it. At least last year this was the case, whereas JBJ, really good jumps, really not great routes.
Can still make it work.
You have one or the other. You can make it work. Kevin Kiermaier, like he was good at both.
Yeah.
So how's Clint's route running?
Yeah, Clint is actually more in the Jackie JBJ range this year at least. His route is basically a little bit below average. I think it's about a foot below average. But his reaction time, which is which is basically how many feet you cover in the first second and a half of that 3-second period. So that's your reaction. He's at 2 feet better than average for his reaction, and he's a 1.5 foot better than average in terms of his burst, which is that next 1.5 seconds. So from 1.5 to 3. So his reaction and his burst are both well above average. It's the route running where he is below average. So that is basically how many feet you cover compared to the direct route to the ball, right? Mm-hmm. So his route running, and I think that's something that can be improved. I mean, it's hard to teach reaction and burst, right? I mean, that's just instincts. But I think that route running, the route stuff is something that he can actually be taught, and I think he can improve. So that's where I see the positives there.
Yeah, I just think we have some good building blocks, confidence-wise and results-wise, for him to go off of, because it's been good. I still don't like how much he dives. I think he leaves his feet way too often, but
yeah, and I think so too. That play, the diving play, I think that you're talking about, I believe it was on Tuesday. Is that right? Monday or Tuesday. That was his best play of the year. It was a 60% catch probability. I looked at it, so it was a 3-star play, one of those 3 stars.
So that was a 3-star play. He made look like a 5-star.
You can say he made it look like a 5-star. Yeah, maybe. But yeah. So I think you're right. He does probably leave his feet a little bit too much.
Make the plays, and I'm fine with it.
But he's making the plays, and that's pretty much all that we can ask for right now.
And again, I mean, it's what kind of scope do you look through the lens? We've known Clint is a great athlete. I mean, I think his sprint speed, they said from the other night when he was on the bases, was top 12% in MLB. I mean, that's some pretty elite stuff.
The only guys ahead of him on the Yankees are Gardner, Tauchman, and Wade.
Yeah.
So, and those are three elite guys.
Yeah.
So he's right below them.
True speedsters. I think confidence is very much a piece of Clint's game, whether hitting or defensively. I think we even saw that when he was struggling last year. If he caught his first pop-up, he normally had a routine game. If he got in trouble, then the wheels normally came off a little bit. I think no fans in the crowd helps him a little bit. Shout out Yankee Stadium, but I don't think we helped him too much. And I think the bigger thing is, let's just compare last year to this year. And, that last year segment was tough. This was supposed to be the nice give some love to Clint piece, and that part got tough for a little bit. But when you put that in comparison, to be 13% worse of a fielder, and some of the numbers you said on ball attempts, to now he's gotten those balls. And I don't know if a gold glove is in Clint's future. That seems doubtful. But we've got him with an above-average jump. We've got him with the quick twitch and the speed that we've known he's had. If he can improve the route running even a little more, there's chance he can be a good defensive outfielder. Right now, I think he's giving us average, and with average, Clint Frazier can still be a very good ball player if he can tap into that potential at the plate. So it's exciting, and it's gotten overlooked. But if Clint Frazier was the Clint Frazier of last year, I mean, just put that in the current Yankees puzzle, and it would be that much more of a disaster. He went from being a very below-average defender to being a slightly above-average defender. And with his bat, I mean, he's currently got a 1.0 OPS. I mean, that has been a huge and a slightly overlooked part of this Yankee season.
Agree.
Silenced him. Bang.
Yes. Mic drop.
It's all good.
No, we all know Clint, he's been definitely one of the bright spots this season, which have been recently few and far between.
Good. Do you have a sharpest stat, or do we got to roll? The game's about to kick.
I think let's just roll. Let's just get to this game. But there weren't too many sharp stats from the past week.
No.
That would give us some good momentum.
How about this? The
going
Yankees
forward.
Yankees get hot. We'll get 2 sharp stats of the week out of you next week. Deal?
Yeah, that's
Perfect.
right. That's right.
All right. Thank you as always, Katie. We appreciate it. Hopefully the Yankees have let's win 4 out of 6.
Let's get going.
Mets and Baltimore. 4 out of
Mets
6.
and O's.
Or 4 out of 5. How many are they playing?
Something like that.
5. 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Hell yeah.
Thank you, Katie. Thank you, guys.
Yep.
Appreciate you. We'll see you later. Goodbye.
See ya.